Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. It's Catherine here from Tullamore Live with another not so weekly update or vlog update, since that's what these are now. They aren't happening weekly, but that's okay. Life can be flexible and that's not a big deal. I want to tell you a few things happening with the business, as well as show you can see there is an egg. We had some chicks hatch, so I'll show you those in this video. There's 8 of them total. 6 hatched almost, I guess, 2.5 weeks ago. And then some of them are a bit newer. They're about a week old. And it's really cool because you can see on the chicks, the ones that are older have so many more feathers and are so speedy. And then the ones that are new are just really little tiny things. And they're really neat because they're all mixed breeds. So chickens can mix pretty easily, the different types. And we have barnyard mixes, we have Rhode Island Reds, Barred Rocks, Silkies, there's a lot of different types here. And so we have the father of the chicks is Fernando from the ABBA song, is why he's named that. And he is half Silky and half Barred Rooster. So I'll show you what his parents look like. And then the chicks, they had a Silky mother sat on them, but it was an assortment of eggs that the different chicks laid. And I thought it was really cool. I don't know how familiar all of you are with chicks hatching. I've only hatched chicks myself versus buying chicks, which they ship you in the mail. Because if you didn't know, the reason chicks can be shipped in the mail is they eat sort of the yolk sac or whatever it is in the egg when they're born. They absorb it, not eat it, they absorb it back into their body through their vent, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. And then that sustains them for like 72 hours. So that's why you can ship chicks and they don't need water or food. But when a chick hatches, it's really cool. So there's 2 different membranes. There's one inner membrane that when the chick's hatching, you can't peel off because the chick would bleed to death. It has to naturally come off once it's been absorbed correctly. But you can see here, can you see inside there? So you can see there's sort of some veining, or however you want to think of it. And that's the what you call it, the inner membrane that's on the chick. And then you can see the egg. It's really cool. So this half, like that, has been piped around, I think it's called. I don't know if that's the right word. So they make a little hole, and then when the eggs are hatching, I saw this actually happen a few times this year, but I didn't film it because I didn't want to bother the chickens or interrupt the hatching process. But they make a tiny little hole, and then you see their beaks basically go all the way around till they get this off, and then they push out if it's a really good hatch. So that was really cool. But yeah, I'll go show you the chicks running around. Honestly, they're such wild little things. I wish they were super tame because I obviously, it's more fun perhaps having tame chickens, but they aren't currently, but I'm going to persist. You'll see with my old chickens I have, they're really hard to film these days because I've been feeding them some treats, so black oil sunflower seeds and vegetables and that. And they want the treats so bad when I come in that they stick really close to my feet. But I'll try and film them when we go over. The other thing I wanted to show you before we go over are some of the flowers I bought. I bought more flowers. If you didn't know, I worked part-time at a greenhouse recently, which I'm not sure how much money I made since I spent so much on flowers, but I just wanted to show you a few ones that I'm gonna still be putting in the greenhouse, and I'll take you over and show you what's in there already. But this is verbena. Can you see it? My little siblings really liked that one, which it excites me when they care about the planting because I want them to love plants too. This is gazania. I don't know if you can see, they're gonna be different colors. I don't have a tag in this one. I had trouble remembering the name of this one, but if you think of Zane from One Direction, is how I've been remembering it, that it's gazania. And these are supposed to open and close with the sun. So my boss was telling me at the greenhouse that one person told her that the gazanias are the most depressing flower because if you go to work early in the day, you miss them being open because the sun's not up yet. And then if you get home late, you also miss them because they're closed when the sun's down. These 2 here are stevia plants. So that's like the sweetener. So you can actually eat, the leaves of these are really cool. I've again been feeding them to my little siblings. This is Lavatera, which I've never had this before. It sort of has similar leaves to a hollyhock. And hollyhocks were something my grandpa used to really like. So my boss actually gave me some hollyhocks for free this year so that I could plant some in. One of them is a black hollyhock, which I've never seen, so I'm excited for that. And then this is a new flower I just learned about. It's called dianthus. And I'm pretty excited about these. This is another variation of dianthus, but I love how brilliant the colors are. So yeah, I will take you out to the greenhouse. I'll bring these out. I don't think I'm going to plant them today, but I'll show you what else there is. And then when I give you an update on that of the greenhouse a little bit from now, you'll be able to, I guess, see how things have grown. But yeah, we can go check out the chicks. I don't remember what the last vlog that I posted for all of you was, but I think I'd posted that I was going to try and do 2 mini, 1 big interview every month. And I would like to say publicly that that was quite optimistic. And I have not since, I haven't even achieved that once. So the best I seem to be able to do is 1 big interview and 1 little interview. And regularly with the business, I'm always thinking that there's more that I can do than I can. Basically, I just need to clone myself, which my friend and I fight over all the time because she says she wouldn't want the clone version, but I think the clone version would be the same. But yeah, if you have an opinion on cloning people in a joking way, just let me know down below. I don't want any serious cloning discussion. But yeah, I'm gonna carry these out and I will take you out to see the chickens. That's where we're gonna head next. So you'll be able to see them cluster around my feet and hopefully get a good view at them. And I'll show you Fernando's father and mother, and then you can see all the assortment of the chicks. So let's go ahead and head out. Okay, I totally forgot, but I wanted to show you these also. These are Morning Glory, and they're called Carnival of Venice. So I recently got quite a few of them. I'm trying to see, I think I have some other colors. Let's see. Okay, this one here, it has a few dead leaves, but it's gonna have darker blooms, but it hasn't bloomed yet. So you'll have to stay tuned for the update on that. But I have 12 of them total because our B&B is opening soon. You can see there's the solar panel here for the overhead display we have. That there's a DIY video coming out on that soon. But yeah, so I have all those Morning Glory up here as we go. And there's sweet little Blossom. Okay, over to the chickens we go. Okay, so there's some of the chickens. You can see our half silky, half barred rock Fernando. So that's him. This is an example here, the black and white one, of a barred rock hen. So his dad, that's a hen, but his dad looks like that. And then you can see no one wants to miss out on in case there's potential treats, but we aren't doing treats right now. We're just gonna go see the chicks and I'll show you what Fernando's mom looks like so you can see the cross. Okay, here we go. So you can see there are the older chicks. And here. And there's a total assortment of colors. The only 2 we've named so far are that little black one that just hopped up that doesn't even look, frankly, like he's a chicken. His name's Howl from Howl's Moving Castle. My friend Kirsten named him. And then, oh, before I show you the rest of them, I just want to show you these little guys in case they go in. Those are the new ones. So that's a silky hen. Silkies are known for being really good at sitting on eggs. So she's called a broody hen, is something you might hear. And it means they brood or sit on eggs. So those chicks actually hatched later because this hen took over after one of these hens hatched the other ones, and then another silky hen came and was like, okay, I'll help out with that. It's really cool. You can see versus raising chicks on your own, and the mothers raising them, the chicks learn super early how to do all these things. So sometimes when you get chicks in the mail yourself and you have to raise them, do you see that yellow guy that's walking towards us? That's Lightning McQueen is his name. He's super fast and he's by far the biggest chick. But yeah, when you get chicks in the mail, you have to sort of train them to do things. You sometimes dip their beaks in the water. You show them where the food is. But when chicks are being raised by their mothers, obviously the mothers teach them how to do all these things. So you see often the mother hens will scratch, then the chicks will scratch, the mothers will peck at something, then the chicks will peck at something, that kind of thing. So you can see Howl, again, the black chick that's up there right now. I'll try and zoom in so you can see him. He jumped off. But he was the first to jump out of the nest boxes, which are right here. So you can see the chicks actually started out in there, was the little nest box where usually eggs are laid. And so I have them separated right now because those little guys, the ones that are younger, who haven't been named yet, aren't quite ready to go outside, versus these guys, when I'm home during the day, I let them out. And the mums can look after them. No problem kind of thing. But I try not to let them out unless I'm home, just because I don't know how the weather is going to be. But yeah, you can see they're making quite a mess. So out of these ones, so like I said, the silkies are what these white hens are. And that's, one of them is Fernando's mom. It's cool because of them being mixed breeds. Some of them, I don't know if you can see well enough here. They don't, like I said, they aren't quite sure of me yet. But some of the chicks have furry feet, like silky chickens. And some just have normal chicken feet. So there's no fur, or I guess I should say feathers on their feet. But yeah, the one that's Lightning McQueen, I'd say is more average chick size, because all of these chicks here have at least a quarter silky in them. They're all a bit smaller. And that's why, I don't know if you can see here, so this is a regular chick feeder and waterer. But this one here is a modified hummingbird one, because I guess it's a modified hummingbird feeder for those two little guys. Because when I first got silky chicks, they kept getting their heads stuck in the feeder because they were so much smaller than regular chicks are. So most of the supplies you buy for chicks aren't for silkies, or silkies are a bantam chicken, which means they're smaller. And I think that there's no large breed equivalent of chickens. Some chickens, they have like smaller variations of a breed, but that's not a true bantam. We'll see if I shake the food. Sometimes if I go like this, they all come over to scratch. They're not convinced. They're totally camera shy. It's also neat. So it's really hard to sex a chicken. So to tell if it's biologically female or male, or a chick. There we go. But it's sort of neat. You can tell which ones are roosters relatively early on, because you see them sort of challenging each other, or fighting among themselves. You can keep typically roosters together, or you can't keep them typically together, unless the roosters, when they were young, were raised together. And then you'd need a certain ratio of hens, or right now I have a rooster coop where the roosters live in relative harmony with each other, but they were all introduced when they're young. And so the reason that is because when they're little, chickens have a literal pecking order. So they sort of fight, develop who's dominant, and then once that's established, they don't fight them when they're older. So you sort of have to let them fight it out among the chicks, or find that pecking order. And then sometimes, not always, they're okay to be kept together when they're older, kind of thing. And chickens aren't always less dominant than roosters. I've had chickens that are more dominant, or less dominant than the roosters. So you can see they're enjoying their chick feed. And I don't know if this is true of all silkies, but the hens that I've found are the most friendly are the Rhode Island Red. The silkies I haven't found are super friendly. But I know I was just reading an article yesterday that said brooding or like a hen being broody or wanting to sit on eggs, is something that's bred out of a lot of breeds just over time. So I don't know if the silky breeding is different, and that's why they retain being broody, if they're, like more wild or anything like that. I'm not sure. So, okay, I'll give you one last peek at our other little friends over here. Okay, we'll say goodbye to all these guys. And I don't know, you can see how much feathers are in before we go, hopefully there. A lot of people don't realize chicks get their feathers within a couple days. So those baby chicks you see in Easter commercials that don't have any feathers and are purely fluffy, they're newly hatched. They're really young. But yeah, we'll say goodbye to these guys for now. And I will take you over to see the greenhouse now. Oh, and if you want to see Fernando's father, he's that guy right there. His name's Mr. Rooster. That's the Barred Rock. Okay, so I know everything isn't quite cleaned up yet. I'm just in the process of getting it sorted. I don't know if you can hear the goats. Let's set those guys there. So the goats, their day pen right now. There is Charlotte and Coco has been over here in what we usually use. There you are. Hey, dude. As a dog run. So I've just been rotating them through the different areas so they get to graze on nicer grass as they go. So often when I'm working in here, it's sort of funny because they'll sit right there, chewing their cud and sort of watching what I'm doing or digesting. So when you come into the greenhouse, we have here are the red wing. I think they're called pansies. Then I have some of these blue ones, which I just tried this year. You can see there's our little guardian goat. He's in a nice little yoga pose, living his best life. I have some oregano here. The reason I have, you'll see there's quite a few herbs in here, is because I wanted it to be more of a sensory experience this year. So when you come in, you'd really smell different smells and that kind of thing. There's my sad coleus. That's the Kong Rose. I don't know if he's gonna make it. I'm hoping I can get a new cutting from my friend. These are the hollyhocks I got from my boss. They need to be planted. And then this is Munstead lavender, which is really the only lavender you can grow in Alberta, especially where we are, which is about zone 3. The lower the number, the hardier you need your plants to be. So that's a zone 3 appropriate lavender, and it's the Munstead. And then we have in here, this is a grape that's hardy for here, as well as 2 raspberries. Those again need to be planted. They'll be moving out of here. And then I have one of my favorite flowers, which is portulaca. It's also called, I think, rock rose, desert rose, Mexican rose. There's a lot of different names for it. But yeah, it's sort of a succulent. It doesn't take a lot of water, which is good for me, especially with how busy I am. But it blooms beautifully all summer. And I think it's so cool. You can see, look, on this one plant, there's all those different colors of bloom. So it's a really colorful, I think underrated flower, actually, I'd say. And then I just mixed in some marigolds because I wasn't sure how much space it was going to take up, and I really like marigolds. Up here, we have, it looks like one very sad pansy that isn't going to make it. I think I have a few left that I can pop in there for another try. We have the lobelia, which if you've seen lobelia at greenhouses, and it's really small, it grows really quick because usually it's root bound. So it's just dying to get out of its pot. We have the night sky petunia, which just came about, as far as I know, in Alberta about 3 years ago. And it has some white lobelia and then the black satin. I really like the black satin petunias because I feel like it makes other stuff show up more. We have some pansies and night sky in there. Again, more night sky. This is just a plant that had a bit of different variation I thought was cool, with some portulaca, lobelia marigolds. We have marigolds and night sky. We have a basil back there, again, for that smell intention. Oh, and this one's cool. So this here is a petunia as well. It's a double wave petunia. And I mixed it again with the black satin, so hopefully it'll show up well. And that's the blue double wave. I know it looks sort of purple, but purple is a lot easier to breed into flowers than blue. So often they call things that look maybe purple to most people blue when they're naming flowers. We can come down here. My pansies aren't looking awesome, and I know they're a bit scattered. I was sort of going for a whimsical night theme this year. I have my dahlias. I don't know if you saw the video where I started those guys from tubers. But those are the dahlias in the back. I wouldn't list those as a success per se this year. And here's my geraniums, which also have been neglected. They look a lot healthier in the camera. Don't be fooled what they actually look like. There's the goats. They just want in or out, however you think of it. There's more of that there. I have a bit more portulaca and the black satin. And then I have up here, it's really cool. So I'll stand up carefully. Hopefully you don't hear a crash. This is lemon balm. I know you can't smell it through, obviously the camera, but it smells so neat. It almost smells like citronella-esque. And then those are, I think are they giant magnificent? I don't know. They're the really large pansies. So my hands are pretty big, but you can have a scale of sort of what those look like. Isn't that neat? But yeah, I'll show you. There's the flowers I set outside there. Here's sort of what the greenhouse looks like currently. Can you see as a whole? I don't know if I can quite get far enough that you guys can have a good view. But yeah, and then it's really neat. One night I'll bring you out here late in the evening. But these are all solar lights up there. Can you see Coco's itching herself along there, having a nice good rub? Yeah, those are all solar lights up there. And then you can see, so they have, you know, that pattern in the metal. And it makes a pattern down here on the ground. So we have these paver stones that me and my friends stained last year. And then this is old church pew we got in town that we painted. But yeah. Anyway, that's sort of the summary of the greenhouse. I'll be really excited to show you guys what it looks like in a few weeks, because things already, since I planted them, are a lot bigger. They look way cooler. So I'll make sure to keep you updated on that. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed seeing this. I know it was a bit of a longer update and there wasn't a lot of shop talk like usual. But yeah, this is what we've been up to that I've been enjoying that's less business related. So our greenhouse and our chicks. But yeah, I can't wait to show you what they look like a couple weeks from now. I hope you have a great rest of your evening and I'll see you again soon. Bye.